The first regular session of the 19th Congress is hereby called to order. Please take your seats, everyone, and calm down. Let's recognize our distinguished colleague, Senator Risa Ontiveros, to lead the chamber in prayer.
O Panginoon, ngayong araw ay kaarawan ng late husband kong si Frank at ngayon din po ay anibersaryo ng Pearl Harbor. Kaya kasabay ng mga panalangin namin para sa kapayapaan sa aming rehiyon at sa buong mundo, isa rin pong panalangin para sa ating beloved dead. Panalangin ni Marian Williamson. Dear God, please take the souls and spirits of these dear departed ones into the sweetest corner of your mind, the most tender place in your heart, that they and we might be comforted. For now they have gone, and we pray, dear God, for the strength to remember they have not gone far, for they are with you and shall remain so forever. They remain within us, for we are all in you together. The cord that binds us one to the other cannot be cut, surely not by death. For you, dear God, have brought us together, and we remain in eternal connection. There is no power greater than you. Death is not your master, nor ours. These things we believe and ask our hearts to register. We surrender to you our grief. We surrender to you our pain. Please take care of your servants, our dear ones who have passed. And please, dear Lord, take care of us, take care of our country and region, take care of the world. Amen.
Amen. Secretary, please call the roll. Members.
Roll call of members. The Honorable Senator Angara, Senator Binay, Senator Cayetano Alan, Senator Cayetano Pia, Senator De La Rosa, Senator Ejercito, Senator Escudero, Senator Estrada, Senator Gatchalian, Senator Go, Senator Ontiveros, Senator Lapid, Senator Legarda, Senator Marcos, Senator Padilla, Senator Pimentel, Senator Poe, Senator Revilla, Senator Tolentino, Senator Tulfo, Senator Villanueva, Senator Villar Cynthia, Senator Villar Mark, the Senate President.
With 21 senators present, the chair declares the presence of a quorum. Majority Leader.
Mr. President, at this juncture, I move that we dispense with the reading of the Journal of the 35th Session, Tuesday, December 6, 2022, and consider the same as approved. I so move, Mr.
Is there
President.
any objection? Hearing none, motion is approved.
Mr. President, before we continue, we'd like to put on record that we have guests from the gallery that we wanted to acknowledge and welcome to their Senate. Ms. May Richel A. Sestina Parsons. She's the Filipino nurse that administered the first COVID-19 vaccine. She is in the House, Mr. President. We welcome her, Mr. President. Also with us, Mr. President, is the beauty queen and actress and friend of the Senate, Ms. Kylie Versosa.
Yes, we'd like to, first of all, we'd like to recognize our distinguished, I'd say, very important person, no other than Ma'am Rochelle Sestina Parsons, who was the historical first COVID vaccine administered in the world. No, by the world, was done by this lady. Thank you for representing not just England, but the Republic of the Philippines in that particular historic moment. And of course, to Ma'am Kylie Versosa, who was game enough to join us earlier after the earthquake outside, posing under the sun and meeting all our colleagues from the Senate. Yes, please proceed, Majority
Yes,
Leader.
Mr. President, we welcome the pride of the Philippines, Ms. Kylie Versosa, and of course, the pride of the Philippines, our very own Ms. Parsons, very important Parsons, Mr. President. Mr. President,
VIP, very important Parsons.
Mr. President, we also would like to acknowledge the presence of the Philippine delegation at the 6th Eastern Asia Youth Chess Championships, including Vince Rafael Operiano, which, by the way, Mr. President, we passed a resolution for her, Mr.
Recognizing
President.
them? Yes.
And with their coach, Grandmaster Jason Gonzalez. We welcome them. We welcome all of them.
All the chess players that are here,
Chess players, Mr. President.
welcome to your Senate. Gentlemen and ladies, welcome to your Senate. And congratulations to all the medals
Congratulations.
and the pride that you bring to the Philippines.
Thank you, Mr. President. Also with us, guest of Senator De La Rosa, Sydney C. Tankonshan, Asian Zambo Championship gold medalist, and FISU University World Cup Combat Sports silver medalist, with President Paulo Tankonshan and head coach Ace Larida. We welcome them in the Senate, Mr.
We
President.
welcome our athletes to the Senate, and congratulations to your triumphant win. Congratulations.
Last but not the least, Mr. President, we wanted to acknowledge and welcome the Sangguniang Bayan of Carmona, headed by Vice Mayor Cesar Ines Jr. and Sangguniang Bayan members, guests of Senator Ejercito.
We welcome you all to your Senate, the members of the Council of Carmona.
Mr. President, this juncture, I move that we proceed with the reference of business. So
And
moved.
the majority leader, maybe the minority leader would like to challenge the chess champions. I think he's the only chess expert in the
I
Senate.
think he's the only one capable of
Correct.
representing the entire Senate, Mr. President. Before, Mr.
We
President,
recognize our
may we
minority
ask
floor leader.
that we recognize our minority leader, Mr.
Is
President.
the Grandmaster Coach present, Mr. President?
I think so.
Grandmaster Jason Gonzalez.
I think so. Maybe
We
ask
played a
Mr.
game in the UAAP, Mr. President.
Oh, very good. Very good. Your former competitor. We'll have a rematch.
There's a lot of questions here, Mr. President. What was the score?
Who won? Who won? A grandmaster.
He's the Grandmaster.
Yes.
Yeah.
Si Senator Pimentel
there's
is a
no-
master. He's the grandmaster. Okay, let's proceed. There being no objection to the motion, we proceed to the reference of business. Our secretary is recognized.
Letter from the House of Representatives informing the Senate on 28 November 2022, it passed the following House bills in which it requests the concurrence of the Senate. House number 4477, establishing greater responsibility and accountability from private employment agencies, amending for the purpose RA number 10361.
To the Committee on Labor, Employment, and Human Resource Development.
4479, expanding the prohibited acts of discrimination against women on account of sex, amending for the purpose PD 442, otherwise known as the Labor Code of the Philippines.
To the Committee on Labor, Employment, Women and Children, and Family Relations.
4513, prohibiting game fixing and providing penalties for violations thereof.
The Committees on Sports and Games and Amusements.
6069, promoting Philippine indigenous and traditional writing systems and providing for their protection, preservation, and conservation.
To the Committee on the Culture and Arts.
5830, declaring January 22 of every year a special non-working holiday in the municipality of Giginto, province of Bulacan.
To the Committee on Local Government.
6013, creating a barangay in the city of San Fernando, Pampanga, to be known as Barangay Pulong Bulo.
To the Committees on Local Government, Electoral Reforms, and People's Participation.
6128, establishing in the municipality of Florida Blanca, Pampanga, a campus of the Pampanga State Agricultural University to be known as the Pampanga State Agricultural University, Florida Blanca Campus, appropriating funds therefore.
To the Committee on Higher Technical Vocational Education and Finance.
6129, converting the satellite campuses of the Bukidnon State University located in the municipality of Talacag, Baungon, Libona, Malitbog, Impasugong, Cabanglasan, San Fernando, Quezon, Kitao-Tao, Damulog, Kadingilan, and Kalilangan in the province of Bukidnon into regular campuses of the Bukidnon State University, appropriating funds therefore.
To the Committees on Higher Technical Vocational Education and Finance.
Letter from the House informing the Senate that on 5 December 2022, it passed the following House bills in which it requests the concurrence of the Senate. House number 6452, establishing the Virology and Vaccine Institute of the Philippines, appropriating funds therefore.
To the Committee on Science and Technology, Ways and Means of Finance.
6014, declaring the Palani Beach located in Balud, Masbate, an ecotourism destination.
To the Committees on Tourism, Environment, Natural Resources, and Finance.
6015, declaring the immediate environs of the Immaculate Conception Parish Church in Nampicuan, Nueva Ecija as tourism destination.
To the Committees on Tourism and Finance.
6016, declaring the municipality of Villar, province of Albay, an ecotourism zone.
To the Committees on Tourism, Environment, Natural Resources, and Finance.
6017, declaring Mount Kitumnan located in Tungod, Lagawe, Ifugao, an ecotourism destination.
To the Committees on Tourism, Natural Resources, and Climate Change and Finance.
6072, identifying tourism development areas in the province of Isabela, mandating support for tourism development and creating the Isabela Tourism Council.
Committees on Tourism, Environment, Natural Resources, and Finance.
6155, creating a barangay in Esperanza, Sultan Kudarat to be known as Barangay Legodon.
Committees on Local Government, Electoral Reforms, and People's Participation.
6295, granting a franchise to the Leyte 2 Electric Cooperative to construct, install, establish, operate, own, manage, and maintain distribution systems for the conveyance of electric power to the end users in Tacloban and Babatnon and Palo, province of Leyte.
To the Committee on Public Services.
Letter from the House informing the Senate that on 5 December 2022, it ratified the Conference Committee report on the disagreeing votes on House number 4488, appropriating funds for the operation of the government of the Republic of the Philippines from January 1 to December 31, 2023.
To the Archives.
Bill on first reading, Senate number 1603, amending RA 11709, otherwise known as an act strengthening professionalism, promoting the continuity of policies and modernization initiatives in the AFP by prescribing fixed terms for key officers thereof, increasing the mandatory retirement age of generals, flag officers, providing for a more effective attrition system, providing funds therefore, and for other purposes, Senator Zubiri.
For the Committees on National Defense and Security, Government Corporations, and Public Enterprise.
Committee reports. Committee report number 14, prepared and submitted jointly by the Committees on Trade, Commerce, and Entrepreneurship, Local Government, and Finance on Senate number 1594, with Senators Legarda, Revilla Jr., Estrada, Go, Gatchalian, and Villar M. as authors thereof. An act institutionalizing the One Town, One Product Philippines program, appropriating funds therefore and for other purposes, recommending its approval in substitution of Senate numbers 247, 260, 286, 424, 946, and 1246, sponsor Senator Villar M.
To the calendar for ordinary business.
Committee report number 15 by the Committees on Women, Children, Family Relations, and Gender Equality and Finance on Senate number 1600 with Senators Ontiveros, Legarda, and Villar M. as authors. An act prohibiting discrimination on the basis of sexual orientation, gender identity or expression, or sex characteristics and providing penalties therefore. Recommending its approval in substitution of Senate numbers 139, 245, and 442, sponsor Senator Ontiveros.
To the calendar for ordinary business.
Committee report number 16 by the Committees on Social Justice, Welfare, and Rural Development and Finance on Senate number 1602 with Senators Lapid, De La Rosa, Revilla Jr., Ontiveros, and Marcos as authors. An act establishing the Disability Support Fund for the empowerment, full participation, and inclusion of persons with disabilities in society, appropriating funds therefore, recommending its approval in substitution of Senate numbers 31, 501, and 592, sponsor Senator Marcos.
To the calendar for ordinary business. Majority Leader. Session suspended. We'd just like to remind our honorees today with the resolutions not to leave the Senate Plenary Hall because after we adopt certain number of resolutions that are online here today, we will suspend so that we can have a photo opportunity with these men and women that we are honoring today.
Yes,
Just a
Mr.
reminder.
Yes, Mr. President, that's why I was there to
Okay.
remind our guests that
Very good.
we will be to talk to Senate's friends, Mr. President. Mr. President, at this juncture and with the permission of the body, I move to consider proposed Senate Resolution number 320, taking into consideration proposed Senate Resolution number 347, and for the Secretary to read the title only of the measure. I so move, Mr.
There
President.
being no objection, the Secretary, please proceed.
Resolution recognizing and commending May Rachel A. Sestina Parsons for receiving the prestigious George Cross Award from the United Kingdom government.
Mr. President, to sponsor the measure, may we recognize the distinguished lady from the great province of Ilocos Norte and former Miss Philippines, Ilocos Norte, Lawag, to deliver her sponsorship speech. I so move, Mr. President.
Our distinguished colleague from the province of Ilocos Norte.
Thank you very much, Mr. President.
Ivy Marcos is recognized.
Thank you very much, Senate President. Thank you very much, Majority Leader, esteemed colleagues of the Philippine Senate. Good afternoon. I am deeply proud and privileged today to sponsor the proposed Senate Resolution 320 filed by myself last November 23, 2022 to recognize and commend Mayor Richelle A. Sestina Parsons for receiving the prestigious George Cross Award on behalf of the National Health Service from Her Majesty, the late Queen Elizabeth II, and His Royal Highness, then Prince Charles. The award was given for her courage, compassion, dedication, and bravery in the face of grave mortal danger. She administered the very first dose of the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine to then 90-year-old Margaret Keenan, making her the first person, not only in the United Kingdom, but in the whole world, to administer a COVID-19 vaccine to a patient outside of a mere clinical trial. Mr. President and colleagues, the George Cross Award is known to be the highest civilian award bestowed by Britain, originally instituted in 1940 as a reward for wartime bravery. Hence, it is yet another historical highlight in the extraordinary history of Filipino nursing. And May today stands proudly in the Ilocana tradition of her mother Zenaida and Philippine nursing's founder, Anastasia Hiron Tupas, from 1922. Mary Richelle Sestina Parsons was born and raised in Pasay. She graduated from Jose Abad Santos High School and finished her nursing degree at the University of Santo Tomas. Thereafter, she received her Professional Regulation Commission license at the precocious age of 19 years old. She worked at the UST Hospital from 2000 to 2003 before migrating to the UK in October 2003. Since then, she has been a nurse at the Warwickshire National Health Service Trust for 19 years and is now a matron for respiratory services at the University Hospital of Coventry. Thus, Mr. President, it is with great pride and honor that we welcome her today in the Senate for extraordinary bravery and heroism in a time of great global danger. You have truly made the Philippines and all Filipinos very proud. Thank you, Mr. President and honored colleagues.
Thank you very much, distinguished colleague.
Thank you, Senator Amy. Mr. President, to co-sponsor the measures, the distinguished lady from the great province of Pangasinan, Iloilo, and the Republic of the Philippines, Senator Grace Poe. I move that she be recognized,
The
Mr.
distinguished
President.
chairperson of the Public Services Committee and Economic Affairs Committee, Senator Grace Poe, is recognized.
Mr. President,
May we also ask our colleagues to
Settle down.
settle down, please, Mr. President. Especially the beauty queens from
Panay,
Antique,
Antique,
and
Makati, and
Makati.
Ilocos, Mr. President. Thank you, Mr. President. They finally realized, Mr. President, they are not.
Okay. Ang daming mga...
Please proceed, Senator Grace Poe.
Thank you for our beauty queens taking their seats now. Mr. President, there's no denying that the COVID-19 pandemic highlighted the inadequacies and perpetual issues of the Philippine health sector. But in the same breath, the pandemic also emphasized the important role of Filipino healthcare workers, especially nurses, as frontliners in caring for the well-being of communities not only in the Philippines but around the world. In fact, Filipino nurses have helped mitigate a worldwide shortage of 5.9 million nurses during the pandemic. Pag ikaw ay nagbabiyahe at meron kang mga nakikita ang mga foreigner at kakausapin, meron sila palaging sasabihin, oh, we know this friend who is a nurse, a Filipina, and she's great. And that's always what we hear consistently. But even before this health crisis, Filipino nurses have long been recognized globally for their unwavering brand of service. Kilala ang mga Pinoy nurses sa likas nilang kakayahan, kasipagan, at malasakit sa kapwa. That is why they are the most sought-after healthcare workers in the world. But the importance of Filipino nurses in the fight against COVID-19 has been reaffirmed by the monumental feat of Nurse May Parsons, a Filipina nurse based in the United Kingdom who made history as the first person in the world to deliver the first clinically approved COVID-19 vaccine. Nurse May's COVID-19 jab at the University Hospital in Coventry, England on December 8, 2020 monumentally marked the deployment of the COVID-19 vaccines globally and gave hope to many. We already know that she has earned the George Cross Award from the late Queen Elizabeth II and Prince Charles, the highest civilian award. Mr. President, hindi pa dito nagtatapos ang mga parangal na natatanggap ni Nurse May. Recently, she completed her Master of Science in Global Health Management at Coventry University and was bestowed with the Endeavor Award, which is given to students who demonstrated skills and attributes that go above and beyond throughout the course of their studies. As a quick background, Nurse May is a nursing graduate of the UST, University of Santo Tomas. We also heard that yesterday. Was it yesterday? Yes. Last week. But Mr. President, as I seek the adoption of Senate Resolution number 347, I also seek more than just a commendation and recognition from the government. Hindi lang dapat bragging rights ang ambag ng gobyerno dito. Our nurses can only do these heroic sacrifices to the extent that they are taken care of. May pandemic man o wala, patuloy na pumupunta sa ibang bansa ang ating mga nurses para magtrabaho because here in our country, they continue to endure low salaries, poor working conditions, and delays in their allowances, just to name a few. We need to resuscitate our nursing profession. If there's anything that this pandemic has proven, it is that our healthcare workers are the backbone of the health of the nation. If the government continues to disregard their needs and rights and devalue their work, the horrors of the pandemic, where the health system collapsed right before our very eyes, will ensure regardless of whether there is a pandemic or not. We should give back not just in terms of recognition, but in terms of actual benefits to make the nursing practice a genuine, livable career for the practitioners. Upgrading the minimum salary of nurses is the least that we can do for the sacrifice they gave in nursing us all back to health. May mga kwento pa na para magkaroon ng experience, ang mga nursing students pa ang nagbabayad sa mga ospital para magkaroon lang sila ng training. Kalokohan po yan, Mr. President. At dapat hindi natin payagan. We are using them we are actually taking advantage of them if we do that. So, Mr. President, dear colleagues, it is my pride, though, and honor to seek the body's approval in adopting Senate Resolution number 347 to commend and recognize Nurse May Parsons for reaffirming the pivotal role of Filipino nurses onshore and offshore in this global fight against COVID-19. Maraming salamat po.
Mr. President,
Yes, Majority.
may I be allowed to co-sponsor the...
Yes,
Mr.
please,
President.
I'd like to recognize our distinguished.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, let me place on record, first things first, our sincerest thanks and gratitude and laud the efforts of our dear colleague, Senator Amy Marcos, for filing Senate Resolution number 320, and Senator Grace Poe for filing Senate Resolution number 347. It is my honor to co-sponsor the measure and give commendation to a Filipino nurse who made history by administering the first ever COVID-19 vaccine outside of trials in the United Kingdom. Mr. President, last Monday, we just recognized and commend, through your initiative, Mr. President, the University of Santo Tomas School of Medicine. And today, we hail the heroics of my fellow Thomasian alumna, May Rachel Sestina Parsons, who received the George Cross Award, the highest award given by the British government in recognition of the actions of civilians and military personnel, not in the face of the enemy. Ms. Parsons showed the world what Filipino healthcare workers are made of in the face of adversity. Hindi po siya nagdalawang isip na magsilbi sa mga pasyente kahit na malaki ang posibilidad na mahawa po siya ng nakamamatay na sakit na COVID. Ganito po ang sitwasyon ng ating mga overseas Filipino healthcare workers sa iba't ibang sulok ng mundo. Matapang nilang hinaharap ang bawat pagsubok. Wala man kasiguruhan ang epekto nito sa kanilang kalusugan. Kaya naman po, Ginoong Pangulo, noong nakaraang Kongreso, isinulong po natin dito sa Senado ang mga benepisyo para sa ating mga frontliners katulad ng Special Risk Allowance and Active Hazard Duty Pay. Bukod pa rito, pinasa rin po natin ang Department of Migrant Workers Act para iisang bahay na lamang po ang pupuntahan ng ating mga OFWs at mas mapapadali na ang pagbibigay ng tulong sa kanila. Ginoong Pangulo, muli, saludo po kami. Saludo po kami sa inyo, Ma'am May, at sa lahat ng mga manggagawang tuluyang humaharap sa hamon ng pandemya. Maraming salamat, Ginoong Pangulo, and may God bless us all.
Salamat, Majority Leader.
Mr. President, with the permission of the body, I move that all members of the Senate be made co-authors of this resolution. I so move, Mr. President.
There being no objection to the motion is approved.
Mr. President, Senator Bongo would like to just insert for the record his co-sponsorship speech.
Yes, we take note of that. Thank you, Senator Bongo.
And Senator Revilla, also, Mr.
Senator
President.
Bong Revilla.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, at this juncture, no member wishes to interpolate or ask any questions or propose any amendments to the measure. I move that we adopt proposed Senate Resolution number 320, taking into consideration proposed Senate Resolution number 347, subject to style. I so move, Mr. President.
There being no objection to the motion is approved, subject to style, and it's adopted as well.
Thank you, Mr. President. May we ask for a minute suspension and ask our modern-day hero, Ma'am May Rachel Sestina Parsons.
May I make a suggestion, Your Honor? May we approve all the resolutions
first,
and then we
okay.
suspend and ask them to come one by one so
We'll
that
do
we
that.
don't go back to.
Thank you. We'll do that, Mr. President.
With the, of course, with the indulgence of our colleague, our honorees.
Yes. Well, with that, Mr. President, at this juncture, with the permission of the body, I move to consider proposed Senate Resolution number 272, taking into consideration proposed Senate Resolution number 314, and for the Secretary to read only the title of the measure.
Yes, there being no objection, please proceed, Secretary.
Resolution congratulating and commending Filipina beauty queen and actress Kylie Versosa for winning Best Actress at the 2022 Distinctive International Arab Festivals held in Dubai, United Arab Emirates.
Mr. President, to sponsor the measure, may we recognize the distinguished gentleman from the great province of Cavite, our idol, Senator Ramon Bong Revilla Jr., to deliver his sponsorship speech.
Yes, to the distinguished gentleman from the great province of Cavite, our action star of the Senate, no other than, of course, there are several of you here, but
Thank you,
we'd like to
Mr.
recognize
President.
your performance in the Philippine cinema. Senator Bong Revilla is recognized.
Mr. President, it is my privilege to rise and sponsor Resolution number 272. We congratulate a Filipina who exemplifies both beauty and talent, recently recognized on the world stage. She has brought honor and pride to the country through her art in a movie chronicling the plight of Filipinas who are searching for greener pastures in foreign countries, earning for her the Best Actress Award at the 2022 Distinctive International Arab Festivals Awards in Dubai, the United Arab Emirates. Ang natatanging pagganap ni Miss Kylie Versosa sa pelikulang The Housemaid ay nagkamit ng karangalan hindi lamang para sa kanyang sarili, kung hindi sa ating bansa. Ngunit higit pa sa pagkilala at parangal na naiuwi niya sa ating bayan sa kanyang pagwawagi, ay ang pagkakataong masilip ang daigdig ng ating mga kababayan sa mga dayuhang bansa at ang kanilang mga pinagdaraanan. Ito ang handog ng sining sa ating mundo. At bilang aktor gaya ng iba pang mga kasamahan natin dito, gaya ni Senator Lapid, Senator Estrada at Padilla, at Senator Grace, artista din, dugong artista. Ito rin ang dahilan kung bakit minamahal at niyayakap namin ang industriya. Because we get to tell the stories that we need to be told. Sa pamamagitan ng pagsasabuhay ng mga kwento sa pelikula, na ihahatid natin ang mga mensaheng madalas ay naisasantabi lamang. As we applaud and take our hats off to the victory of Best Actress Kylie Versosa, may we also draw inspiration from her win to keep supporting the film and TV industry of our country. Nawa ay muli nating pagyabungin at pagningningin ang industriya ng sining. Maraming salamat po, Ginoong Pangulo.
Mr. President. Mr. President,
Yes, Majority Leader.
Senator Lito Lapid would just like to insert speech. I move that it be inserted, Mr. President.
Yes, we take note of that manifestation.
Yeah, Mr.
Thank you.
President, Senator Robin Hood Padilla, our distinguished colleague from the great province of Camarines Norte, and who is also a well-known action star, would like to...
And also he does romance comedies.
That I'm not very sure, Mr. President.
Rom-com.
But you'd like to seek recognition. I move that he be recognized, Mr.
Our
President.
distinguished colleague from Camarines Sur and adopted son of Mindanao is recognized.
Maraming salamat po, Ginoong Pangulo at ating pong pinunong mayorya. Nasabi na po ang napakagandang pananalita ng atin pong magaling na senador, ang idolo po natin mula pa sa probinsya ng Cavite, ang mga bulaklaking mga salita na nakapagbibigay po ng parangal dito sa ating napakagandang dalagang Pilipina. Ako po ay nasa pulpito para lamang po pasalamatan si Miss Kylie Versosa sapagkat hindi lamang po Pilipinas ang kanyang inangat dito sapagkat kami pong dalawa ay taga Baguio. At isa pong malaking karangalan para sa amin na mga Highlander na meron po kaming isang katulad niya na nagbigay po ng karangalan sa ating inang bayang Pilipinas. At ito din po ay patotoo na yung akin pong nabanggit noong ako po'y nandito rin sa pulpito na wala nang gaganda pa sa mga Pilipina at wala nang gagaling pa sa atin bilang mga artista. Oh no!
Okay, settle down, gentlemen and ladies, settle down.
At Ginoong Pangulo, diyan na po nagtatapos ang aking maiksing parangal sa ating pong bisita. At muli po, ako po'y nagpapasalamat sa inyo, binibining Kylie Versosa. Mabuhay po.
Mr. President.
Salamat po.
Mr. President, before we continue with the accolades, I would just like to put on record that this representation would like to associate himself to the manifestations made and speeches delivered by Senators Bong Revilla and Senator Robin Hood Padilla, Mr. President, na bata pa ho ako, lumaki akong idol ko na po sila, Mr. President. Mr. President, our Filipino actors and actresses are slowly gaining recognition in the international film scene. A testament to this, Mr. President, is the recent win of Filipina beauty, a beauty queen and actress, Kylie Versosa, as Best Actress at the 2022 Distinctive International Arab Festivals in Dubai, United Arab Emirates. Hindi ko po alam, Ginoong Pangulo, kung meron ng naging beauty queen na naging Best Actress pa. I think she's the first one, Mr. President. And we're very happy to have her today in this August chamber. And in her excellent performance for the movie The Housemaid, Kylie was able to show her wide range of emotions. She deserves commendation for continuing to show the world the passion of Filipino artists in the film industry. So again, Mr. President, let me place on record our sincerest congratulations on her win, on your win, Ma'am Kylie Versosa. Thank you, Mr. President, and God bless. At this juncture, Mr. President, I move that we recognize Senator Risa Ontiveros for her short manifestation as well, Mr.
Yes, we
President.
recognize
Thank
the
you.
Deputy Minority Floor Leader, Senator Risa Ontiveros.
Salamat kaayo, Mr. President. Nais ko lang idagdag sa mga parangal natin kay Kylie Versosa, yung alaala na sa gitna nung kanyang pagiging isa sa pinakamagandang beauty queen ng ating kapanahunan at yung panahon ngayon na sabi ko nga sa kanila kanina, nagsisimula siya ng kanyang bagong brilliant career, siya po ay naging kasama natin sa ating trabaho dito sa Senado bilang isa pong advocate ng ating then mental health bill at ngayon mental health law. So dagdag lang po, Mr. President, na isang matamis na alaala natin bilang Senado sa ating mga parangal kay Ms. Kylie Versosa. Mabuhay ka.
Thank you very much.
Mr. President, last but not the least is our Senate President pro tempore.
No,
Oh, Mr. President.
she wants to associate herself
Yes,
with you.
Mr. President,
with the
I will do that later.
Also,
on
another
if
beauty
there-
queen, once upon a time, Senator Lauren Legarda,
Definitely,
was
Mr.
also a
President.
beauty queen. I've seen the videos and
Senator-
close-up model.
Senator
Close-up model.
Angara is yelling the year, mentioning the year, Mr. President. Would you like to know?
Do not have information on that. at this
Should I
point.
mention it?
No more.
No
Let's
more,
proceed,
I will not,
Majority
Mr.
Leader.
President. Well, Mr. President, with the permission of the body, I will also move that all members of the Senate be made co-authors of this resolution. So move, Mr. President.
There being no objection, motion is approved.
Mr. President, no other member wishes to interpolate or propose amendments to the measure. I move that we adopt proposed Senate Resolution number 272, taking into consideration proposed Senate Resolution number 314, subject to style. So move, Mr. President.
There being no objection, the proposed Senate Resolution number 272 and 314, subject to style, is hereby adopted. Congratulations.
Congratulations, Ms. Kylie. And also, Mr. President,
Last but not the least,
before we continue, we would just like to recognize Sir Carl Balita, who is also with us in the gallery. We would like to
our
welcome
dear-
him, Mr. President, our good friend.
our future colleague, hopefully, in the Senate,
Yes.
Carl Balita, health expert.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, with the permission of the body, I move to consider proposed Senate Resolution number 304, taking into consideration proposed Senate Resolution numbers 306, 308, and for the Secretary to read the title of the measure.
There being no objection, we ask the Secretary to please proceed.
Resolution congratulating and commending the entire Philippine delegation on their outstanding performance in the 2022 Eastern Asia Youth Chess Championships in Bangkok, Thailand.
Tita Lauren. May picture taking tayo, Tita Lauren.
Mr. President, I move, Mr. President, that the sponsorship speech of Senator Lito Lapid be inserted into the records.
We take note of that manifestation. Thank you.
So, President, I move that we recognize. Oh, Senator Revilla also and Senator Jinggoy Estrada would like to just insert into the records their co-sponsorship
Thank
speech,
you very
Mr.
much.
President.
But Senator Bongo is raising his hand.
Yes, Mr.
It
President.
would be good that he be recognized as well.
Yes, may I move that we recognize Senator
Senator
Bongo,
Bongo
Mr.
is
President.
recognized, who is the chairman of the Committee on Sports.
Mr. President, I stand here to co-sponsor the resolution congratulating the Philippine delegation for their outstanding performance at the 2022 Eastern Asia Youth Chess Championships held in Bangkok, Thailand. Our team was declared overall champion of the tournament by amassing a total of 32 gold medals, 27 silver medals, and 21 bronze medals. The Philippine team also won the title of Best Chess Federation, beating out Mongolia and Vietnam. Participating in a competition of this caliber is no easy feat, and the fact that they were able to rise to the challenge and perform at such a high level is truly impressive. As a team, they have also shown the true spirit of sportsmanship and have brought honor to our country. Each of the athletes has demonstrated exceptional talent and potential, and I have no doubt that they will continue to thrive and excel in the world of chess. Ang babata pa po nila, ang gagaling na po. I'm sure matatalino itong mga batang ito sa paglaki. I am sure that the experience of competing at the championships will be valuable to the members of the delegation and will help them to grow as players and as individuals. I also hope that their success will inspire others in the Philippines to take up the game of chess and strive for excellence. Sana marami pang sumunod sa yapak ninyo. Bigyan natin ng oportunidad ang iba pang mga kabataan na may potensyal sa ganitong larangan nang sa gayon ay mailayo rin natin sila sa masasamang bisyo. For our part, we have included in the 2023 budget bill significant increases in the Philippine Sports Commission budget for assistance to our athletes and support to our grassroots sports development program. We thank the chairman of the Committee on Finance, Senator Sani Angara, and of course the leadership, Senate President Mig Subiri, Majority, and to all of our colleagues for their support. Sana po makakatulong po ito sa ating Philippine chess team. To Team Philippines, your success at this prestigious tournament is a testament to your talent and determination, and I know that you will continue to achieve great things in the future. I look forward to seeing all that you will accomplish in the coming years, and I know that you will continue to make our nation proud. Once again, congratulations on your impressive victory. Keep up the excellent work and best of luck in your all future endeavors. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much, dear sponsor.
Mr. President, next to co-sponsor is a distinguished gentleman from the province of Camarines Norte and Nueva Ecija and the Republic of the Philippines, Senator Robin Hood Padilla. I move that he be recognized.
The distinguished gentleman from the province of Camarines Norte, Bicol, and the Republic of the Philippines is recognized. Senator Padilla.
Maraming salamat po, mahal na Ginoong Pangulo at sa atin pong pinunong mayorya. A'udhu billahi minasyaitanir rajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah rabbil alamin. Bismillahi wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillahi. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Ginoong Pangulo, sa mga magigiting na miyembro ng kapulungan, ako po ay tumitindig ngayong hapon sa pulpitong ito, hindi lamang upang samahan at suportahan sa panukalang resolusyon ang aking mga kaibigang sina Idol Senador Pinuno Lito Lapid, Senador Pangmasa Jinggoy Estrada, at Senador Idol Bong Revilla. Ngunit lalo't higit ay upang makapagbigay pugay sa delegasyon ng ating bansa sa nakalipas na 2022 Eastern Asia Youth Chess Championship sa Bangkok, Thailand. Nakatitindig balahibo pong malaman na sa kabuuan ay nakapag-uwi po ang ating mga batang delegado ng 32 gold medals, 27 silver medals, at 21 bronze medals sa ginanap na kompetisyon noong nakaraang buwan lamang. Akin po ang karangalan na maging bahagi ng pagkilala at pagbibigay pugay sa bawat isa sa ating 40 magigiting at mahuhusay na manlalaro sa larangan ng chess na lumahok at nag-uwi ng karangalan sa iba't ibang kategorya. Napakasarap naman po talagang maging Pilipino, lalo na sa ganitong mga pagkakataon. Nais ko rin pong bigyan diin na ang isa sa mga nag-uwi ng karangalan sa ating bansa ay napakalapit po sa ating puso, sa puso ng mga taga Mindanao na katulad po ng ating ama ng Bangsamoro, ang atin pong Senate President Mig Subiri, at sa atin pong idol ang serbisyo, ang kanyang bisyo, at siyempre po si Senator Bongo, at sa atin pong Minority Leader Senator Coco Pimentel. Sapagkat may Mindanaoan po dito. Sa 12 taong gulang pa lamang po, si Al-Bashir Basti Jumangit Buto. Ngunit hindi matatawaran ang kanyang kontribusyon sa ating bansa sa larangan ng chess. Isang chess prodigy, ASEAN Master, at buong puso at pagmamalaki po nating masasabi na siya po ay pride of the Bangsamoro people. Isa pong maranaw. Sa kaalaman po ng lahat, si Basti ay walang formal na pagsasanay. Likas po ang talino, abilidad, at pagsisikap ng batang ito na mas nalinang pa sa pagsasanay simula sa murang edad na 4 na taon, kalaban ang mas mga nakatatandang chess players sa bangketa ng Quiapo. Mula sa payak na simulain, si Basti po ay tumatabo na ngayon ng parangal sa lokal at internasyonal na arena. Itinuturing na rin po siyang National Master ng National Chess Federation of the Philippines at kamakailan lamang ay nakasungkit ng 3 silver medal at tinaguriang candidate master sa 6th Eastern Asia Youth Chess Championship. Mashallah. Salat man sa yamang pinansyal, saludo rin tayo sa kanyang pamilya na nakaantabay at lubos ang suporta sa kanyang napiling sports. Sa kanyang mga magulang, Ginang Jamila at Ginoong Sulaiman Bongbuto. Syukran mga kapatid, taas noo po ang sangkamusliman at kakristyanuhan at buong bansa sa inyong pamilya. Hindi pa po ito ang kasukdulan ng ating mga parangal. Hangad ko po na patuloy pa ang kagalingan at kalinangan ni Basti. 10 na mga batang atleta sa buong bansa, inshallah. Magbubukas pa po ito ng pinto sa ating mga kapatid na Bangsamoro, lalo na sa ating mga kabataan na nangangarap makapag-uwi ng karangalan para sa ating mahal na bansang inang Pilipinas. Muli po, maraming salamat po sa inyo. Mabuhay ang inang bayang Pilipinas.
Thank you, Mr.
Maraming
President.
salamat, Senator Padilla, Majority Leader.
Thank you, Senator Padilla. Mr. President, just to put on record, last week we were able to give a commendation to chess prodigy from OWAS Albay, 9-year-old chess prodigy, Mr. Vince Rafael Operiano. We passed Senate Resolution number 285, which was adopted November 29, 2022. And today, we welcome the entire Philippine delegation of the 2022 Eastern Asia Youth Chess Championships in Bangkok, Thailand, and commend them for their outstanding performance. We also congratulate their coaches and their families, and we hope that their achievements will continue to inspire more young people to excel in their respective fields. At this juncture, Mr. President, I move that all members of the Senate be made co-authors of this resolution. So moved, Mr. President.
There be objection, motion is approved.
Mr. President, no member wishes to interpolate or propose amendments to the measure. I move that we adopt proposed Senate Resolution number 304, taking into consideration proposed Senate Resolution numbers 306 and 308, subject to style. So moved, Mr. President.
There being no objection to the motion of the Majority Floor Leader, proposed Senate Resolutions number 304, taking into consideration number 306 and 308, is adopted subject to style.
Mr. President,
Congratulations.
thank you. I move for a minute suspension and ask our guests to...
We can do it one by one,
one by
starting
one.
with Ma'am
Parsons, Mr. President.
Parsons, Miss Parsons, and then Kylie Versosa, and then our
Yes.
chess team. So session is suspended.
Thank you, Mr. President. The permission of the body, this is with regard to the privileged speech of Senator Jinggoy Estrada entitled State of the Philippine Entertainment Industry, delivered on November 8, 2022 and interpolated on the same day. There being no member who intends to interpolate, I move that we refer the privileged speech of Senator Jinggoy Estrada and all the manifestations and interpolations thereon to the Committee on Public Information and Mass Media. I so move, Mr. President.
There being no objection to the motion, motion is approved.
Mr. President, with the consent of the body, I move that we resume consideration of House Bill number 3968 under Committee Report number 12. This is the charter of the City of Carmona. So move, Mr.
There
President.
being no objection, motion is approved.
Mr. President, the parliamentary status of the measure is that we are now in the period of interpellation. I now move that we resume the interpellation and recognize the sponsor of the measure, Senator Joseph Victor Ejercito, and to interpellate our Senate Minority Leader, Senator Coco Pimentel.
Our distinguished colleague from the city of San Juan is the sponsor, Senator GB Ejercito. And to interpolate is Senator Coco Pimentel, our distinguished minority floor leader.
Yes, Mr. President, we're already ready. We're ready to answer the queries and the interpellation of the minority leader.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. We are accommodating the request of the sponsor to, well, at least try to fast-track the processing of this bill, Mr. President. Although, don't blame us for the lateness of the hour, Mr. President. Yes, and actually we are no longer in tip-top shape, Mr. President, for this task, but we will try our best, Mr. President. So, ano ba yung kahapon? I think yesterday, Mr. President, during the interpellation of Senator Gatchalian, we were able to establish the eligibility and qualification of the municipality of Carmona to be converted into a component city under RA 11683. Tama po ba yan, Mr. President?
Yes, that is correct, minority leader, Mr. President. Carmona now qualifies as a city under this new RA 11683 because looking back at history, Your Honor, Mr. President, is that when San Juan became a city before in Valenzuela, when Senator Win was also mayor, the requisites back then, the criteria was just 100 million for the income and 150,000 for population, and likewise 100 square kilometers. You have to meet 2 out of 3 of those criteria. But with the RA 1183, as long as the municipality reaches 400 million income, it with a 100,000, not less than 100,000 population, it can now be qualified to become a city, Your Honor, Mr. President.
Thank you for that clarification. Therefore, Carmona is actually now applying to be a city under Section 450 of RA 7160, last paragraph of subparagraph A, as amended by RA 11683. Yun po yun.
Yes, that's correct, Your Honor, Mr.
Thank
President.
you. Thank you for that clarification, Mr. President. Wala bang objection si Senator Tolentino sa certification ng PSA, Mr. President?
In fact, Senator Tol was one of those who wanted to be associated with this, being from Cavite, being from Tagaytay. Carmona is actually is a sister town, no, of Tagaytay, Your Honor. It's beside, it's contiguous, Your Honor.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. And we have, let's now go to the particular bill we are discussing, Mr. President, no? The details now of the bill. And I'm looking at what are we working on, Mr. President? Is it the House Bill number 3968, Mr. President?
Yes, that is correct, Your
So
Honor.
that is the draft that we will be working on. May we know first, Mr. President, because the committee report, I think, has committee amendments. What concepts, ideas, or parts of House Bill number 3968 will be touched by our Senate committee report proposed amendments, Mr. President? Kahit hindi na po basahin yung amendment, pero ano po yung parang topic po na i-amend po ng ating committee?
Well, there are some provisions that we feel that were not included in the House Bill, Your Honor, like inclusion of just briefly, City Public Order Safety Officer, which is a requisite, no? Yung that's what we call POSO, who maintains peace and order, but this is the civilian unit, Your Honor. The City Registry of Deeds Office. So those two, Your Honor, Mr. President, that were not included in the House bill that was forwarded to us, Mr. President.
Yes, I've gone over the committee report, Mr. President. So meron tayong ang Senado ay may idadagdag dito po sa House bill po na ito.
Yes, that is correct, Your Honor. Just that the two, the office and the department heads that will head those departments. So it's a public order and safety officer and the registry of deeds, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. President, ito po bang House bill na of course na-examine na rin ito ng committee natin, that's why may proposed amendments. Ito ba yung galing sa ibang batas na ginawa niyang parang template niya o modelo?
Yes, Your Honor, Mr. President. On the template is usually we use the cityhood bills template, no, from the House of Representatives, because more often than not, usually the House, the cityhood, the proposal for municipalities to be converted into cities usually emanates from the House, Your Honor. So it is just accordance to the template of the cityhood bills from the House of Representatives, which is being used since the 16th Congress, Your Honor.
So 16th Congress draft, Mr. President. Because for example, Mr. President, ano section yun sa police? Section 7, for example, Mr. President, jurisdiction of the city. It starts with the first paragraph na for police purposes, and then the territorial jurisdiction of the city for police purposes would extend over the territory of the city to cover the drainage area, the reservoir, conduit, canal, aqueduct, or pumping station. So may we know the rationale of this, Mr. President? And since this is the template used in the other cityhood charters or bills, ano pong feedback natin dun sa mga batas na yon? Meron na bang may dispute ba over this particular wording of Section 7, Mr. President?
Yes, Your Honor, Mr. President, the provision is lifted on Section 7 from the subsection 5 of Section 458 of the Local Government Code of 1991, Your Honor.
Hindi, 458 1991, CDP. So this comes from the code, Mr. President?
Yes, that is correct, Your Honor.
And then there's this mention of in the second paragraph of Section 7, city court, which I don't think is a term which is used nowadays, Mr. President. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think there is no court which can be called a city court, Mr. President. Hindi, bigyan mo ko yung Section 4 of the Local Government Code for CDP nyo, for Municipal Trial Court, pag municipal. 458. Municipal Trial Court.
So, Mr. President, apparently it's called now, should have been Municipal Trial Court in Cities, Your Honor.
No, I'm just pointing this out so that, kasi
It will
this
be
is,
corrected.
anong year ba yung 16th Congress, Mr. President? Ano bang year yun?
2013.
Oh, so 2013 to 2016. If this was the template used, siguro 2022 na. And if there are words or phrases na inapplicable na, let's not carry them over.
That is correct, Your Honor.
If
If
possible, Mr. President.
Actually, Madam President, Your Honor, it's good that you're pointing this out so that the bill that in case we file this will be already more refined and all of these errors or terminology that are not applicable anymore, we can make amendments already.
And then, same paragraph, Mr. President, referring to page 3, line 18, we still use the word misdemeanors. I don't think that's being used now in relation to criminal law at this particular time, Mr. President.
Yes, if you may want to introduce if you can correct, probably coming from a bar top natural, we will gladly accept.
Ipa-check na lang po din natin po sa ating staff na yung wording.
The term misdemeanor,
ayusin natin. Apa. But I'm ready to be corrected, Mr. President. Kasi. And then, Mr. President, of course, we heard this bill at the committee level. And then, when a municipality converts into a city, yun na yung ERA or the national
Tax
allotment of the cities, of the existing cities, are expected to be affected because they have increased in number. So in our hearing, did the League of Cities, number one, appear in the hearing, and what was the position of the League of Cities or of any other existing city, Mr. President?
Unfortunately, Your Honor, Mr. President, we sent them invitations, but they did not send any representative, which is really unlikely. But actually, yesterday, during Senator Gatchalian's interviews, I think that most of the concerns, usually of leagues, were propounded by our colleague yesterday. Especially, the concern will be how much will be how it will affect the other cities. Of course, if you add another city, they will eat into the pie of the whole league. Like for example, as far as I can remember, when San Juan became a city, We were only 81 cities back then in 2007. But now, Mr. President, I was surprised that we're already 147 cities at the moment. So, Senator Win yesterday asked about that, and I think you are concerned with the impact, not the different cities as far as the pie is shared, the share in the pie is concerned. And yesterday, I propounded that in Puerto Princesa, for example, it's only negative 0.91%. No? So almost, it's very minimal, the impact. But the biggest or the maximum impact was in Vigan City, which had a negative 3.65% change in or a cut in their national tax allotment, Your Honor.
Madam President, I think Senator Gatchalian wants to
Mr. President,
contribute.
Yes.
with the permission of the two gentlemen, Mr. President.
Senator Gatchalian is recognized.
Thank you. With the permission of two gentlemen, Mr. President, on the topic of the League of Cities of the Philippines, I had the same question in mind, Mr. President, and I took the liberty of reaching out to the League of Cities of the Philippines in order to get their official position. Because when I was going through the transcript of the lower house as well as the Senate hearings, it seems to be that the League of Cities was absent in both hearings. So I took the liberty of contacting them and asking for their official position. And they sent me a letter signed by the president of the League of Cities, Mayor Michael Rama of Cebu City. And let me just read parts of the letter, Mr. President, just to put into our records and to enrich the discussion. The League remains consistent with our principle to adhere to the rules and bases already set by the Local Government Code of 1991. Based on the data obtained by the League from the Bureau of Local Government Finance, allegedly, the average local generated income of the municipality of Carmona for 2020 and 2021 is 504 million pesos. Also, based on the recent census, it has 106,256 inhabitants. Given that the municipality of Carmona complies with the income and population requirements of conversion, I am confident that the LCP board will support the conversion of Carmona into a component city. When we convene the National Executive Board on March 2023, I will move for the adoption of this position, Mr. President. Well, Mr. President, the context of this is since it's already Christmas time and the League only meets a certain period, the board of the League meets only a certain period, the next meeting will be on March next year. But I was quite adamant in getting an official position of at least the president, no? so that we'll be enlightened what the president's position is. And it seems to me that the League is amenable to the conversion because Carmona complies with the new law, no, on conversion. And the League has taken a magnanimous position in the past as well. If you remember, Senator JV, we're both mayors. There was the 16 controversial cities. Both me and Senator JV were fighting against that conversion because they were not compliant with the rules under the local government code. But after many flip-flopping, I think 3 or 4 times, the Supreme Court rendered a final judgment declaring the 16 municipalities cities. So even though the League of Cities took a contrary stance in the beginning, but since there was final judgment, the League of Cities respected the decision of the Supreme Court, thereby welcoming the 16 municipalities into the League of Cities after their conversion. So consistent with that philosophy, since this RA 6883 is already a law, the league is taking a position that as long as Carmona complies with the new law, then the league is supportive of the conversion. Just to share with the body and to enrich the discussion, Mr. President.
Thank you very much, Senator Win Gatchalian, for that. No, in fact, Mr. President, Madam President, Your Honor, when we were both mayors, we have to be honest with you, of city of San Juan, city of Valenzuela, because we really work hard, Your Honor, to reach that criteria. No, it was not very easy, no, to attain the income, the population. And to tell you the truth, most of the cities in the league don't really want new applicants or new cities because it will eat in their pie. But as what Senator Win has mentioned, the controversial 16, we were really against it, no. But in the end, since it was the Supreme Court already stepped in, so the league already also accepted them as well. So I'm happy. I'd like to thank, of course, Senator, the President, League President Mike Rama, for being magnanimous, no, because Carmona already complied with the 2 out of the 3 criteria for cityhood, Your Honor, Madam President.
So thank you. I was just actually eliciting information on what we did, who we invited, who appeared, what did they say. So siguro we should learn from this lesson and encourage the League of Cities to participate. Encourage lang, invite po natin sila to participate. So this will be the first, if ever, no, if Carmona becomes a city, this will be the first implementation of RA 11683, especially the paragraph D, subparagraph D, Mr. President, which reads, in order to minimize the effect of conversion, the newly converted cities shall, upon enactment of this act, bring the respective allotment derived from the national taxes as municipalities to the allotment of cities, provided that said portability shall be effective for a period of 3 years from conversion into cityhood. Tama po ba yun, Mr. President? First time, this will be the first application of this particular provision of law, of the new law?
Yes, Your Honor, this will be the first time that this will be applied to, because the Carmona will be the first beneficiary of RA 11683, Your Honor, Mr. President.
So how will this paragraph which I just read, Mr. President, be implemented? So I have been informed that the projected NTA of Carmona as a municipality is 284 million pesos, Mr. President, more or less, as a municipality. So how will we now implement the paragraph I just read of RA 11683 in the case of Carmona when it becomes a component city? 284 ba yung ano natin kanina? 284? May iba mga number ka nagsasabihin niya.
For 3 years.
268 pala. I correct my figure, 200, ano, tama ka ba yan? Sure ka na doon. 268 million more or less as a municipality, Mr. President.
Your Honor, so that to minimize the effect of the conversion, what the NTA as a municipality of Carmona, ito muna yung dadali niya, no? It will be applied to the next. So para hindi naman agad-agad, so it will not affect right away the share of the taxes of the League of Cities of the Philippines. Just to give you also to give you an information, the percent in increase no for NTA of Carmona will be 226%, but the total effect on the NTAs of kumbaga the share of the whole League of Cities of the Philippines will only be 0.22% yung magiging effect niya. So it will have low impact, but it will have a high on the leagues, but high impact on the Carmona, City of Carmona.
So if the municipality of Carmona becomes the component city of Carmona, its NTA as a municipality computed at 268 million will become how much as a component city, Mr. President? Yun yung 700.
In total.
59.
Total, may total ba kayo?
Saan natin nakuha yan? Kahapon din yan.
540.
759.
Hindi, yung NTA nga niya na pag naging city. What will be
Hindi,
the
diba 2023 projection yun?
already? Close to 500. Yes. Your Honor, Mr. President, the share as a city will now be 782.69 million, Your Honor.
782.
Estimate. This is estimated share of the city.
Okay.
When it becomes
So tama po ba yung akin namang figure as a municipality, yung estimated niya, kunyari it remains as a municipality next year, ano siya, 268 million? Tama.
somewhere like that.
Parang
268 million. Yes, Your
20
Honor.
So,
That is correct.
So, kung i-minus natin si 268 kay kay 782,
It comes out about 542,
514.
514.
So for the benefit of the city of Carmona, di ba?
That is-
Yes, and then ang sinabi po natin yung effect sa kapwa niya mga cities is
0.22%.
0.22%. So hardly to be felt by the existing cities. Ganun po 'yon.
That is correct, Your Honor, Mr. But for the city of Carmona,
Yes, yeah.
it will have a big impact.
Correct.
But I think because of the large share, in the larger share of the pie, it will have only 0.22%. Your
Ito po ba mga city official potential city officials ng Carmona ang kasama po natin?
Yes, Your
dito
Honor.
sa,
There's the Vice Mayor is here.
the Vice Mayor
and
is here.
the council. Actually, yesterday, Congressman Roy Loyola was here, and Mayor Dalia Loyola, Your Honor, Mr. President. If I may add, Mr. President, Madam President, Your Honor, the Municipality of Carmona has really performed very well, being an SGLG consistent awardee. And Mayor Dalia, who's a doctor, has very good programs, really, in the city. In fact, Sec Boying Rimulya and Governor John Vic Rimulya said that Mayor Dalia is really a very efficient public official. And in fact, pwede nga daw ito mag-Secretary of Health because she is a doctor and she's very, very, really a performer. So I think Carmona has really deserves really to become a city because of the progress and the development it has reached at the moment, Your Honor.
If I may, I am witness to how Dr. Mayor now, Dalia Loyola, has really institutionalized her programs up to the barangay level. In fact, I can't recall the name. Perhaps a sponsor can mention this. She has a program that documents all the people she has helped, and she has people up to the Purok sitio level that knows all the needs of the people. In fact, while I was campaigning and she told me about that, she said that she would mentor me and teach me about how grassroots her program is. Perhaps the sponsor can answer what is the name of the program of the Loyolas, both Kong Roy and Mayor Dalia, on the mapping up to the Purok and sitio level. It was Mayor Dalia who told me about it. I can't recall the name. So I am witness to how they have institutionalized their programs. I'm very impressed with the Loyola couple. Just that intervention.
Okay, so Mr. President, so at least andito sa harap ng ating mga potential city officials ng potential city of Carmona, na-establish na natin na qualified naman talaga, even if we use the new law. If we consult the League of the Cities, wala naman palang objection
Yes, Your
or
Honor.
any reklamo. So, ganda na lang natin yung batas. Yun na lang. So, pagdating sa substance, wala na po tayong problema ron. But this is the charter of a city and the product of the 19th Congress and of our body. So, ayusin na lang natin yung batas kung meron po tayong napapansin. But just correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. President. No? So, yung balik tayo sa Section 7, huwag na po kayong mag-alala kasi hindi na po ito tungkol sa cityhood ninyo. Ano na po ito? Pinapaganda na lang natin yung wording ng inyong charter. So,
Naayos lang, para walang mali.
wala na pong problema, wala nang issue on your qualification as a component city. Yun lang po sa number 7 talaga, yung for police purposes, and then we mentioned the jurisdiction of the city to be coextensive with its territorial jurisdiction, but extending it to its water supply. And then Your Honor, our sponsor mentioned the Section 458, but it is not of the local government code. But it is about the powers of the Sangguniang Panglungsod, if I'm not mistaken, Mr. President, where the City Council can approve ordinances to establish their water supply and then extend the coverage of their ordinances over the territory. So, is this sufficient legal basis, Mr. President, that for us to also use this for police purposes, Mr. President?
Your Honor, the very last city the municipality that was converted into a city was Calaca in Batangas, no? Through RA 11544, dated May 26, 2020, it had the same provision, Your Honor, and plebiscite.
Yes, oo nga. Kaya nga, we also looked at the other laws, ganito rin eh. Pero what's the rationale? I mean, we are going into the rationale now, sir. Pero ganito na lang kasi I think the sponsor plans to pass this today because you are pass on second reading pala today because you are operating on a timeline which I think you need to have the plebiscite in February of 2020,
yes, Your Honor, Madam
2023. So,
President.
let me just point out our observations, Mr. President, for His Honor and his staff's consideration. Paki-check na lang
Madam President, with the permission of the two gentlemen, if I may interject.
Yes, yes, sir.
Senator Tolentino's recommendation.
I was the author of the Calaca Bill, Cityhood Bill, and if the good gentleman from Cagayan de Oro can repeat the exact perceived to be questionable provision, so I can refresh my memory, Your Honor. What was that about the waters?
Can I just show
Yes.
the provision to the good senator? Section 7. Pakita ba?
Yes, I recall, Mr. President, with the permission of the good gentleman, I recall, Mr. President, that one of the reasons for the inclusion of this provision is the recognition of water as a public good. And water really would be a precious resource, not just as we speak, but in the years ahead. And considering that water is not just captured in one place, but would continuously flow, there is a notion that it should likewise be protected as a city resource. And there is the concept of bulk water supply, Mr. President. There are existing practices wherein enterprising individuals would sell water coming from an LGU and sell it to another LGU to the consternation of the residents of the source. So one of the reasons, Mr. President, is probably to hindi naman sa pagdadamot, to preserve really the water emanating from an LGU to be used by the said LGU, considering that it is a precious resource. This is probably the reason why for police purposes, and I'm quoting the Kalaka or even the present bill, the jurisdiction of the city shall be coextensive with the territorial jurisdiction, and for the purpose of protecting and ensuring the purity of water supply of the city, such police jurisdiction shall extend over all the territory within the drainage areas. So considering that Carmona has several rivers and streams, this is probably the reason for this, for environmental protection as well, Mr. President. I hope I have given some inputs. I was the Kalaka author, Mr. President, just for the record.
Thank you, Senator Tolentino, for citing those. In fact, that's very welcome, because you're the author of the last city that was the last municipality that converted the city.
Well, anyway, Mr. President, ito po sa Kalaka, Section 7, Jurisdiction of the City, ganito pagkasulat. Yung umpisa na lang po ang babasahin ko. The jurisdiction of the city, for police purposes only, then shall tuloy-tuloy. Ito sa atin naman ngayon, Section 7, for police purposes, the jurisdiction of the city shall be, etc. Well, anyway, I'll just point this out. If we can if you can style it better, Section 7. And then I'll try my best. Daanan ko na lang, Mr. President, yung observations ko just for the consumption of our sponsor, and I will just consideration also, kayo na pong bahala if you will act on this. Section 8, city officials. There is no building official as required under Section 301 of the PD 1906. And then, okay, tuloy na lang, sir. Mr. President, I will not...
Yes, that's correct, Your Honor.
I will not require a response na lang. Pero,
no, but we will take note of all
Yes,
your
yes, take note.
observations,
Opo.
and we will include it in the amendments, Your Honor.
because I think if we need to process our inputs, you will also consume time, Mr. President. And then please take a look at Section 9, Paragraph C, Subparagraph 3, 6, or VI. So Section 9C3 VI. And because of that provision, can we interpret this to mean or to make the city mayor liable if there are informal settlers within the city? Okay, so revisit na lang po natin yung wording ng section, baka it might be interpreted that way. Section 10 on the city vice mayor, there is no prohibition for 3-year for the three term limits, no? 3-term. Okay. There is no mention of the 3-term limit, unlike in the provision for the city mayor. Ito po ba'y sinadya or nalimutan or whatever? Kasi ano bang interpretation po natin? Si municipal mayor ba ay once maging component city at city mayor na, pwede po ba siyang panibagong 3 terms po ba yun? So,
Your Honor, Mr. President, Madam President, we can add this, but it is already stipulated in the local government code. But
that's correct. Pero kaya nga, we took the effort to state it sa city mayor provision and we did not take the effort to state it in the city vice mayor provision. So, I mean,
yes, we will just add.
baka, so we can delete them altogether from the law because subject to the local government code or restate the rule pero consistently, Mr. President. Ganun na lang po.
That is correct, Your Honor.
Ganun na lang po. And then Section 23 on disqualifications for city elective officials, subparagraph D mentions the dual citizens are prohibited from running. Please just double check the recent case of Ghana Karait versus Comelec dated August 2022. Where the Supreme Court made a distinction between those dual citizens who are by naturalization from those citizens who are dual citizens by birth, who are also therefore natural-born citizens. So baka kailangan po natin, we need to put some qualifier because of a recent Supreme Court decision. Okay.
Yes, that's correct.
And then, yes,
that's correct, Your Honor.
on Section 24, anong page itong 24? So, page 26 of our bill, meron lang pong, ano sabi ko? Page ano? Okay, Section 24, which is, ang heading po niya, permanent vacancy in the offices of the city mayor and the city vice mayor, meron po biglang subparagraph B, na ang sabi, if a permanent vacancy occurs in the office of the punong barangay, hindi na po namin maintindihan paano bakit na lalihis yung usapan sa punong barangay, Mr. President.
Your Honor, Madam President, we'll just amend accordingly.
Kaya nga, unfortunately, galing to template, chinek namin yung mga pass laws, nandun din. It makes no sense. Okay, at least we took note of that. Our version should become the template, Mr. President.
That is correct. With when the bill is refined because of your interventions coming from a top notcher, of course, this will be the template next time.
Yung buong pasa paragraph B, because pero ang danger nung kahit i-retain nyo yan, meron pa rin nag-shift pa rin from Sangguniang Barangay to Sangguniang Panglungsod. Within subparagraph B, nag-shift yung konsepto po, line 25 po of page 26. And then, last na po, nakita nyo? Siya lang ba sa assistant ang may ganung wording? On the matter of the assistant city treasurer, Mr. President, section 29, just a clarification na the word used is may. Subparagraph A states that the assistant city treasurer may be appointed by the Secretary of the Department of Finance from a list of at least 3 ranking eligible recommendees of the city mayor. Just to be clear about the intent of the law, do we intend the position of assistant city treasurer to be mandatory or optional or permissive, Mr. President?
Your Honor, Madam President, the city treasurer is usually appointed by the Department of Finance, by the Secretary, but the assistant treasurer position is should be optional, Your Honor.
Optional. That's the intent of our law.
That's correct, Your Honor.
Hindi ko na po i-contest kasi ano na yan, wisdom or policy na lang po yan. Mr. President, yan na lang po inabot ng powers ko. I mean, hindi ko na po Hindi ko na po ma-review yung 61-page charter, pero
But
ganun na lang siguro. At any rate, we will be taking time to amend it. Kung may mahanap na lang po tayo in the process subject to styling na lang. Basta as far as the substance of the bill is concerned, which will convert the municipality of Carmona, Cavite into a component city of the province of Cavite, there is no issue on the substance of the bill. So, congratulations sa ating city officials and to our sponsor, and we put a number to the benefit in terms of national tax allotment, 514 million immediately. Plus, of course, the powers now of the city council, di ba? Andun na sa local government code. Yes, this is of course subject to a plebiscite. Is that correct, Mr. Chairman? Mr. Sponsor?
yes, that is correct. Around February,
So
they're
the-
targeting. That's why hopefully if we can pass it through second reading tonight and hopefully third reading next week, then the plebiscite will be held on February, Your Honor.
So, congratulations and good luck in the plebiscite. Involve the people, inform the people, and let the people decide. We accept the will of the people. So, congratulations to our sponsor. At talaga naman deserving po ang soon to be the city of Carmona. Maraming salamat po, Mr. President.
Thank you, Minority Leader.
Thank you to our minority leader and distinguished sponsor. Madam President, there being no member who wish to interpolate and ask any more questions on this particular measure, I move that we close the period of interpellations. So moved.
No objection. Period of interpellations is closed. I was just wondering, where is Mayor Loyola and Congressman Loyola?
They were here yesterday,
Okay.
Madam President.
And we have the local officials.
The local
here.
officials are all here.
Okay, thank you.
Tabang na. I move for the previous question, Madam President.
The interpellations are terminated now.
Thank you, Madam President. Madam President, do we continue?
Committee.
Okay. Can move for a minute suspension, Madam President.
Session suspended.
House Bill number 3968. I so move, Madam President.
So suspended.
Madam President, at this juncture, I move that we adjourn the session until 3 o'clock in the afternoon of Monday, December 12, 2022.
Session is adjourned until Monday, December 12, 2022 at exactly 3 p.m.
Thank you, Madam President.